Coming up, One Transitions. Life in this big old goofy world, according to the late, great John Prine. Roll intro. Hello there, Sully here, the retired taxi anchor. Welcome to Transitions. Remember to subscribe to my channel and to like and share this video and hit that notification bell. Now, before I start, allow me to apologize for the noise from my air conditioner over here. It's a hot and muggy day in the Delaware Valley. No complaints from me about that. I never had to dig my car out from under 18 inches of hot and humid. You know, I often find myself trying to make sense of this big old goofy world. And in trying times, I turn to music. And usually I find what I'm looking for. People piss me off from time to time, but I try to get away from that. And face it, laughter is the best medicine. But making sense out of this big old goofy world can be hard for some of you. And for some of you it's easy, of course. It was easy for John Prine. Prine was one of the great talents of folk and country music, and even had some crossover success in the rock music world. Now, it's no big state secret that I'm a huge fan of John Prine. I've loved his music since I first heard it, back when I was, maybe 15 years old. It was something totally different from what was being played on the radio in those days, and it appealed to me because of that. Born and raised in Maywood, Illinois, Prine learned to play the guitar at the age of 14. He attended classes at Chicago's Old Town School of Folk Music, and after serving in West Germany with the U.S. Army, he returned to Chicago in the late 1960s, where he worked as a mailman and writing and singing songs, first as a hobby, and then becoming a club performer. A member of Chicago's folk revival, Prine credited film critic Roger Ebert and singer-songwriter Kris Kristofferson with discovering him, which resulted in the production of Prine's debut eponymous album with Atlantic Records in 1971. Kristofferson, of course, went to see Prine at the urging of Steve Goodman, and Kristofferson later said that Prine was so good we have to break his thumbs. The acclaim earned by this LP led Prine to focus on his musical career, and he recorded 3 more albums for Atlantic. He then signed with Asylum Records, where he recorded an additional 3 albums. In 1981, he co-founded Oh Boy Records, an independent record label with which he would release most of his subsequent albums. Widely cited as one of the most influential songwriters of his generation, Prine was known for humorous lyrics about love, life, and current events, as well as serious songs with social commentary, and songs that reflected melancholy tales from his life. In 2020, he received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award shortly before his passing. When he was a kid, in the summertime, Prine's parents would go back to visit family near Paradise, Kentucky. It was here that he had some of his earliest memories, and his song, Paradise, was written about his childhood visits to his parents' home. The song tells of how Peabody Energy literally wiped the town of Paradise off the map to mine the coal beneath it. And in recent years, Peabody Energy has tried to have the song banned from the airwaves. To no avail. Over his career, he performed with many great musicians. He was what was sometimes referred to as a songwriter's songwriter, and his works were covered by many singer-songwriters over the years, from Kristofferson to Jason Isbell Roger Waters, Iris DeMette, and of course, Bonnie Raitt. And in fact, his best known song was a huge hit for Bonnie Raitt, Angel from Montgomery. And he had often performed the song in duet with Raitt on stage, TV, and radio. Prine had an especially close friendship with fellow Chicagoan Steve Goodman. The two traveled and performed together throughout the 70s and early 80s. Now, after being diagnosed with leukemia, Goodman was traveling with Prine, and they were in an airport somewhere when Goodman just stopped and looked around. Prine asked him if there was anything wrong, and Goodman deadpanned, "Why did they call it a terminal?" In early 1998, Prine was diagnosed with squamous cell cancer on the right side of his neck. He had major surgery to remove a substantial amount of diseased tissue, followed by 6 weeks of radiation therapy. Now, the surgery removed a piece of his neck and severed a few nerves in his tongue, while the radiation damaged some salivary glands. A year of recuperation and speech therapy were necessary before he could perform again, but the operation altered his vocals and added a gravelly tone to his voice. In 2013, Prine underwent surgery to remove cancer in his left lung. After the surgery, a physical therapist put him through an unusual workout to build stamina. Prine was required to run up and down his house stairs, grab his guitar while still out of breath, and sing 2 songs. 6 months later, he was touring again. On March 19th of 2020, amid the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States, Prine's wife Fiona revealed that she had tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 and had been quarantined in their home apart from him. He was hospitalized on March 26th after experiencing COVID-19 symptoms. On March 30th, Fiona tweeted that she had recovered and that John was in stable condition but not improving. Prine died on April 7th, 2020 of complications caused by COVID-19 at the age of 73. In accordance with Prine's wishes, as expressed in the song Paradise, half of his ashes were spread in Kentucky's Green River. The other half were buried next to his parents in Chicago. He was an amazing talent, one which I discovered when I was a much younger man and have carried with me to this day. So, in honor of this big old goofy world, I'm doing a John Prine song today entitled It's a Big Old Goofy World. Enjoy and roll video.
Up in the morning, working like a dog, better than sitting like a bump on a log. 'Cause if you mind your manners and you're quiet as a mouse, someday you'll own a home that's as big as a house. Now I know a man, he eats like a horse, knocks them old balls around the old golf course. You ought to see his wife, she's a cute little dish. She smokes like a chimney and drinks like a fish. There's a big old goofy man dancing with a big old goofy girl. Ooh, baby, it's a big old goofy world. Now Elvis had a woman with a head like a rock. I wish I had a woman that could make my knees knock. She'd She'd sing like an angel, and she'd eat like a bird. And if I wrote a song, she'd know every single word. There's a big old goofy man dancing with a big old goofy girl. Ooh, baby, it's a big old goofy world. Kiss a little baby, give the world a smile. And if you take an inch, give 'em back a mile. 'Cause if you lie like a rug and you don't give a damn, you're never gonna be as happy as a clam. There's a big old goofy man dancing with a big old goofy girl. Ooh, baby, it's a big old goofy world. Sitting in a hotel, trying to write a song. Oh, my head is just as empty as the day is long. It's clear as a bell that I should have gone to school. Be wise as an owl instead of stubborn like a mule. There's a big old goofy man dancing with a big old goofy girl. Ooh, baby, it's a big old goofy world.
And it is a big old goofy world, isn't it? It can become less goofy, of course, if you subscribe to my channel by clicking on that red button right down there. Or it might get even more goofy. I don't know. I'm not a soothsayer. But I can tell you that you will not be sorry if you check out more of the music of John Prine. For Transitions, I'm Sully, the retired tag reactor. And as always, safe and happy travels.